Where are we?
Damn it, Eli, did you kidnap us again?
As our lawyer explained very clearly last time, you can't call it kidnapping if you don't press charges.
No, super duper not what I
But
said.
yes, I figured what better way for us to start out Cecil's episode on eccentric cars than with a little road trip of our own.
Great. So what are we riding in? Some propeller contraption?
Or one of those ones with a jet engine?
Is it that super duper limousine?
No, I could not get any of those. It is a Ford Pinto, but the guy at the dealership told me they're super rare. Now, let me just back out of here.
Eli, no!
We made it 3 weeks without dying in an opening sketch. Was it 3?
Yeah. Hey, are we like Looney Tunes Angels right now? With the halo and stuff?
I assume so, yeah.
Nice. Looney Tunes. Classic.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm No Illusions, and I'll be in the driver's seat this week, but how would I know when to tell people if we were there yet without a few passengers? Now, unfortunately, Tom had a flat, couldn't make it today, but luckily Cecil's a man who always carries a spare tire with him.
I've been carrying that spare for years, Noah, for years! Jesus
Finally,
Christ!
It comes in handy. And also joining us tonight, and this panel about cars, is a man who doesn't think periodically catches on fire is a legitimate reason to otherwise discard a perfectly good car, and a guy who thinks the guy who thinks the yellow line on the road is in case giants have real big scissors, Heath and Eli.
Heath's car has caught fire with me in it. That's how often it catches fire. We don't
And
ride
me too.
in cars.
Me
Yeah.
too. And separate incidents.
We were on fire for like 8-9 blocks. We put it out. We were fine. Relax. Perfectly good car.
Now, before we get started with the subject itself, let's acknowledge that this show is really about our patrons. Patrons, you drive us to distraction. And if you too want to drive us to distraction, be sure to stick around to the end of the show to find out how. And with that out of the way, tell us, Cecil, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
We're going to talk about weird cars.
All right, so why are we talking about weird cars?
Great question. So I wanted to do a fun essay about weird vehicles. And I was planning on doing water and air and landcraft. But then I started looking into weird cars, and they kind of stole the show. People throughout the history of the car have created some bizarre and ugly vehicles, and we are just the people to spend a half an hour on it.
Hell, we could have spent half an hour on just the cars Heath has owned.
Listen, the Volvo 240 of 1984 is a work of art.
Well, but if it was all one color, maybe.
That one was my 1990 Volvo was not.
Oh, okay.
Let's start with cars where people kind of went crazy with the wheels. Milton Reeves, when he was 15, was working at a sawmill. And the kids operating the sawmill, because we were once a child labor hellscape, were having a bitch of a time with the motorized pulleys. They went one speed, and I guess that means fast because he decided to invent a variable speed transmission so the operators could control how fast or slow the pulleys went. Fast forward a few years, and the automobile is starting to take off, and he decides to use his variable speed transmission on his new invention, the motorcycle. No, it does not look like the modern motorcycle. It kind of looks like a wheeled bulldozer if you replace the bucket for a stagecoach front seat. The vehicle had 4 wheels, and Reeves really had a thing for wheels.
Yeah, I feel like anybody who grew up in the days of tween mill operators was probably obsessed with all the things that give getting the fuck out of here mechanical advantage.
His next vehicle was called the Octo Auto. He took a 1910 Overland, which is a pretty common looking car from that period, and he added 4 more wheels, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. And the car's overall length was over 20 feet.
Jesus.
It actually was pretty great innovation since the roads in 1911 were horrible to drive in a car at the time. The cars at that time had really bad suspension, but this 8-wheeled car, I guess, handled the poorly maintained roads pretty well. But all that innovation comes at a cost. The Overland Reeves Octo Auto was $3,200, which would be like $90,000 to $100,000 today. Needless to say, they did not make many of these.
Okay, but it looks amazing. It looks like an old-timey roadster saw a really sexy lady car putting on lipstick and was like, "Auga," and it like doubled in size.
Totally does. While we're on the subject of more wheels and longer cars, let's take a look at the 1968 Oldsmobile Quality Coach Jetway 707. This was the ultimate grocery getter. It was a 28-foot-long, 6-wheeled station wagon. It had 9 doors, 4 on each side and 1 in the back. It sat 12 to 15 people. It had 6 windows on each side. It had a raised roof that housed the sunroof and 12 integral sunlight windows that lined the top of the vinyl wagon section. It had a roof rack for luggage that looks like a WWE ring. Sadly, only 50 to 150 of these were made. Reports vary. The cars were made to get people to and from the airport in the late 60s and 70s when you took 14 steamer trunks, and that was included in the fare. I guess they rusted pretty badly, and there weren't enough Duggars to keep this model in production.
Slapping the top of the dealership. You can fit so many neglected children in this bad boy, let me tell you.
Put a few on the turnbuckle.
Yeah, right.
Fine.
Right. Now, and listeners, to visualize this, imagine if you could somehow denude a limousine of any hint of luxury. Right? Or like imagine somebody tried to make a station wagon centipede or something.
It's ass to mouth all the way
Right,
down
yeah,
on
exactly.
this thing. Absolutely.
It's got a real
Yeah.
Miyazaki first draft feel about it.
Okay, so we did more wheels. A big deal. Every Roland Cole F950 with childbearing hips has extra wheels. So what? What about fewer than 4 wheels? So here are a few 3-wheeled wonders that have graced our roadways. Let's start with the one with the most backstory. The 1933 Dymaxion, invented by Buckminster Fuller. He was an architect, a designer, inventor, philosopher, and a futurist. Designer spilled into many fields, and for our purposes, car design. Now, the Buckmeister could probably be his own essay.
He's absurd.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
he
really
really
is.
is amazing. Someone should do this. It's kind of awesome. One part of the Wikipedia talks about his depression during the Great Depression, and after going on a 3-day drinking binge and contemplating suicide for the life insurance, he, quote, felt as though he was suspended several feet above the ground, enclosed in a white sphere of light. A voice spoke directly to Fuller and declared, "From now on, you need never await temporal attestation to your thought. You think the truth. You do not have the right to eliminate yourself. You do not belong to you. You belong to the universe. Your significance will remain forever obscure to you. But you may assume that you are fulfilling your role if you apply yourself to converting your experiences to the highest advantage of others," end quote.
God. Anybody else just get the feeling like their 3-day binge voice in their head is a underachiever?
Hell yeah. My
Wow.
guy's just like Taco Bell.
Right,
You
yeah.
want Taco Bell. And
I
then
like the
to
idea that
throw
the
up.
voice of God was like, need never await tempor. And he's like, you lost me. What? There's attestation.
Okay,
I just-
Yoda.
God, why does God write like Heidegger? What is happening? All right. He then set about to
God's
try
a
to
Nazi.
better.
That's why.
You know, that tracks, Steve.
You know, it
that
does.
fucking
He's not
tracks,
a
man.
Nazi. He's just
I mean,
part
if
of
you
it.
look at the whole Noah thing, he wiped out a lot of Jews in that story.
He really did.
A lot.
How many Amalekites, you know.
Allegedly, Noah. Allegedly.
He then set about trying to better all humanity. Seriously, that's what he got out of the white ball. Better humanity.
Yeah. And now his geodesic dome idea is bettering humanity at Epcot Center, famously. One fucking sticky kid meltdown and messy public parent fight at a time. That's so true.
One of these ways was to make a three-wheeled car that looks like a Zeppelin undercarriage. Its name was a portmanteau, Dymaxion, which is 3 words: dynamic, maximum, and tension smashed together at random. By the way, he invented a Dymaxion house, which looks like a metal yurt, a Dymaxion map, which turns the globe into a 20-sided die so we can all fail our saving throw together, and a Dymaxion sleep schedule, which is 30-minute nap every 6 hours.
Okay, he just really tried to smush it in with the sleep thing. Like, he clearly tried to sleep inside like a giant golf ball made of metal triangles, and he got like 2 hours a day of sleep because that sucks. And he was like, Dymaxion, shut up, this counts. This is somehow related to my thing.
Can you guys imagine anyone being dumb enough to fall for that sleep schedule? Idiots. You were saying, Cecil, you should move on with your story about the people?
Did you seriously try that?
Did you really try that?
I tried
Yikes.
that while we were colleagues, Heath. While we worked together.
I thought you were doing
had
Da Vinci's and that sounds smarter. No, they're both.
I had to talk him out of it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I owned a third of your company when I tried that, Ethan, right?
Okay,
Jesus, man.
Now you have a child, so you're back on it, right?
Because like the other option would have been that I gave you a third of our company after you did it, and I think this
You
way
guys
is
need
better.
a better,
Right.
That's true. That is better.
better business agreement between you guys, I think. Very much need to rewrite this. All right.
You sound like Heath at every business meeting.
All right, let's talk about the car. It's a tube shape that gets smaller as you near the rear of the vehicle. It has 2 wheels in front and 1 in the back, and the one in the rear steers the thing. The rear wheel makes it pretty maneuverable, and it has a great turning radius and allows it to parallel park really well. It kind of looks like a camper, but less functional. I guess only 3 were made, so much for changing the course of humanity. Maybe in some parallel universe, we're all doing tight spinsies in this dopey looking thing.
Gets to heaven, the light orb of the universe is like, I'm sorry, 3 cars? You made 3 cars. Maybe I should have dumbed down that language.
But seriously, look this thing up. It is the most amazing thing to ever exist, and I'm very pissed that I can't have one. I love this motherfucker.
Okay, another 3-wheeled car is the 1953 ISO Assetto, made by Italian refrigerator manufacturer ISO.
Oh, good. Expertise in the field.
It was a tiny little thing that looked like you could hug it and your hands could meet on the other side. It sported 2 wheels in the front and 1 in the rear. It had a 9.5 horsepower engine and 58 miles per gallon highway, presuming you could get it up to 55 miles an hour, which you couldn't because its top speed was 47 miles an hour. It went from 0 to 31 miles an hour in 30 seconds.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
about a
Weird
mile
that they
per
went
hour
for
per
0
second.
to 31 is their measure, isn't it?
I know,
Like
it
the
was
0
like-
to 30
it was
number
like
not impressive,
31.
and they were like, no, but from 30 to 31, it's so fucking fast, you wouldn't believe it.
30 seconds?
That's weird.
It's so like you could pedal your bike fast.
Yes, right.
Are you kidding me?
Don't jog next to my car.
So this thing was 7.5 feet long and about 4-ish feet wide. The best feature was that there was only 1 door and it was the entire front of the car. Later, BMW would start producing these and the car got 78 miles per gallon. And in some models, they had an extra wheel on the rear axle.
Yeah, it looks like just a shell and then wheels under it. It looks like a Koopa Troopa was a car. Like if I jumped on this thing, I feel like the driver would pop out and then like walk away all slowly. I could kick the chassis at him and kill him.
You jump on it, he pops out, and he starts walking faster than the car. Just like, what the fuck? Another 3-wheeled microcar is the Bond Bug. From every picture I've seen, this car only came in Dukes of Hazzard orange. I did see a green one, but it looked aftermarket.
It was, okay, I feel like the only product only comes in orange ever worked for was oranges, right?
Yep. I feel like that too. This car had 2 wheels in the rear and 1 in the front. So it handled like one of those neck snappy motorized tricycles that were popular in the late 80s before the class action lawsuits. The Bond Bug was 9 feet long and 4.5 feet wide. This little guy could get up to 76 miles an hour, which probably feels like you are breaking the sound barrier in this shitbox. since it was so tiny, it also needed a way to get in. So you basically tilted the entire body of the car forward and got in that way.
Like getting into a ski boot. You're just like pulling the little tab on the back of the car to wedge yourself in.
Right? It's so true. As tiny as the car was, it wasn't dirt cheap, so nobody bought it. I guess the land speeder from the original Star Wars is built on the chassis of one, and they hid the wheels with mirrors. But I do want to point out that has a citation needed tag.
Damn sure does. So while I heatedly explained to Cecil that they actually just smeared Vaseline on the lens and shot from an angle where you can't see the wheels, we're going to pause for a quick break and a little apropos of nothing.
All right, gentlemen, I'm proud to call together the first meeting of the automobile makers of America. Now, as you know, cars right now are basically open hand grenades that explode if they go too fast or too slow or over a road that's too bumpy. So let's hear what you got. What do you got?
Ooh, I got one. Me.
Jensen,
Yeah.
Jensen, go.
Hey, now, have we settled on 4 wheels? Because hear me out. What if we did 3?
Do 3 wheels make the car more stable?
No.
Faster or easier to drive?
Nope. Neither of those.
Right. So,
Egg.
Smith, you had something to say?
Egg is my idea. See, yeah, I feel like cars right now aren't egg-shaped enough. Have we considered an egg shape?
Okay, but why are we considering an egg?
Small.
Seriously?
I want them to be small, 3-wheeled eggs.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing.
Okay. So the plan for the next couple years is to make a bunch of small, 3-wheeled, egg-shaped cars. Yeah. And if people hate them, what?
If people hate them, we go back to 4 wheels again. Start at square one. How bad could it be?
If that's what you guys want.
An orb told me not to kill myself.
We know, man. We know.
And we're back. When we last left off, Cecil was permanently establishing himself as the resident expert in looking weird. So, Cecil, what's up next on your list?
Okay, since you asked, what about just weird-looking cars? How about the 2 versions of the Fiat Multipla? Let's start with the 1956 version. This car looks like it's backwards.
It does.
The front is stumpy, the back slopes down, all the doors hinge at the center of the car.
Dumb.
So the doors in the front essentially open backwards, and the doors in the back open like a pair normally would, which makes the odd little thing look like a dragonfly, and the engine is in the rear. So they shove the driver and passenger seat all the way forward, which looks like a terrible safety hazard. It also lists this car as having a 3rd-row seat option, and I have no idea how that can be possible looking at it. This 11-foot-long minivan could reach speeds of 57 miles an hour.
The Fiat Multiple looks like Fiat was allowed to copy off of someone's homework, but they changed it way too much so they wouldn't get caught and ended up getting a 0 anyway.
Or they just copied the dude's homework, but it was in a mirror, right? Like,
The 1999 Fiat Multipla is just so weird looking.
It kept
seriously looks like
through 99.
Yeah, through 99. And I they only list 2 in the article that I saw, but I imagine they're probably all very weird looking. This one seriously looks like 2 halves of a car, the top and the bottom, that only kind of partway fit together, like a Lego set you didn't have instructions for and you just wung it. It's a smallish lower half with a bulbous upper half that helped coin its nickname, the Muffin Top. It came in at number 2 on a list of ugliest 100 cars ever made with this quote. Quote, derided for the blandness of its output during the 1980s and early 1990s, Fiat dared to start thinking out of the box. In this case, however, it simply added wheels to the box, end quote. Another list where it received the top ugliest car had this to say, quote, the tragedy of the Multipla is that its Elephant Man-esque exterior enclosed a genuinely clever and spacious interior, and it wasn't bad to drive. It's a shame, then, that you'd rather walk than be seen in.
It's
End quote.
really, really silly looking.
Yeah.
It looks like the Autobot that never got any playing time from Optimus Prime. You know what I mean? Like every time it transforms, it's got like a random leg sticking out sideways that doesn't make any sense. There's a van with a goiter. It's just never helpful to
It
fight
looks like-
Decepticons.
When AI tries to draw a face, the car.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
really does. It looks like an Autobot from like the SpongeBob universe. Like it very much looks. It's crazy looking. The AMC Gremlin is another car that looks like two that are glued together. In this case, the Gremlin has a long sedan-like front and a very short subcompact wagon hatchback at the back end. It was a terrible car to drive for this reason. The back end had no weight and was short, and the front end had a heavy engine, so it handled and rode poorly. The Gremlin has experienced a renaissance of sorts with online car hipsters. You know, they only listen to the Gremlins' first album and that they say it totally slaps. But really, it's a weird little shitbox car that is only remembered because it was unusual.
A true story. After I read this sentence, I went back and shamefully deleted my earlier interjections about how I listened to the Gremlins' first album and it totally slapped.
The AMC Eagle Camback is basically the same car, but instead of an AMC Hornet front end, they just decided to add a Jeep undercarriage so you could take your Gremlin off-roading. It's seriously just a Gremlin with bigger tires and a lift kit.
Who are these people who are off-roading? When have you ever needed to do that?
Do you not believe off-roaders exist? Is that
Not
what you're
really.
saying?
There's like 6 or 7. They don't need a gremlin.
They don't need a Gremlin.
No.
Another popular trend was to glue two types of vehicles together. So, like a pickup and a sports car. Hello, El Camino. And we all know what an El Camino looks like. It has been referred to as the mullet of cars. It's got a front
That's
end
such a good
of a
description.
sedan.
It's perfect.
And a pickup truck back end. The car was introduced in the 50s, but sales sucked, so they cut production. But a whole slew of people needed to both haul gravel somewhere and do it in style, so they started production again. It had 2 seats and a huge trunk with no top, so all your shit could just fly right out the back. And the car did come with an upgraded 454 engine. So my good friend from high school's El Camino totally warranted those flames that were painted on the side.
Painting flames on the side of your car is practice for dying in a fiery crash, Cecil. You wouldn't get it.
Are you saying I should paint flames on my shitty Subaru?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have
No,
to.
it's already on
just
fire.
self-
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on fire.
So it's better. You're saying it's better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying you're winning.
We're saying it's better than Cecil's friend's high school El Camino. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Right, it is. Thank you, Noah.
All right. Another similar style, but much more bizarre looking model is the Subaru Brat. This had all the same looks to the El Camino, but was a smaller, sort of boxier front and a shorter back end. This car was 4-wheel drive and had an option called a jump seat. This option had seats that sat
insane.
looking out the back in the cargo bed.
What?
And these seats had little oh shit handlebar grips
Right.
on the front side so you could hold on to something as the car flipped and snapped your neck.
Oh, these aren't doing shit. I'm dead. Yeah, that's nothing. But I feel like you're being a little bit judgy because, I mean, that car, that's the sensible option for like the family man doing errands in a post-apocalyptic hellscape, right? Like, that's perfect. You got 2 dedicated spots for henchmen with guitars that shoot flames for no reason. I feel like a lot of people would love the Brat. I feel like that fits for some people.
These little seats were added not for convenience or for thrill seekers, but instead to dodge taxes. I guess the tariffs on passenger cars were less than it was on trucks, so they put the seats in the back to save money.
Christ.
Hey, man, is the back of your car a roller coaster seat? Yeah, but I saved like $40 on taxes. It's a total win, trust me. And the wrist is the strongest part of the human body, so safe.
I don't think that's correct.
And for reals, this car looks like somebody saw an El Camino and said, okay, but that's too sexy though, right? That's a little too, because we want to give the ladies a chance.
Can we make a car that, when it's done being a car, is one of those slingshot rides that they probably shouldn't have at the county fair?
Absolutely. And also, we're going to put like 4 ribbed dildos in the hand areas.
Yep, perfect.
You guys are giving the drivers of the Brat way too much credit. There's no way they had an extra friend that was going to go in back. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
Ribbed for your pleasure. Going back.
So many babes are going to love it back there.
The Pontiac Aztek was so ugly, they had to give one to Walter White in Breaking Bad to emphasize how much of a loser he was. It's a crossover something between a SUV and a sedan.
And a something.
Yeah, and a something. I don't know. The back window on this thing was so sloped and unusable, they had to make part of the trunk transparent so you could drive it. The front end.
You have all the angles available to you when you're building a car.
You really do,
so
man.
weird.
The front end had, quote, a gratuitous, fierce, animalistic snout, which may have been what prompted incoming GM executive Bob Lutz to famously say that many of the company's products look like angry kitchen appliances, end quote. And somebody else claimed, quote, the Aztek looks deformed and scary, something that dogs bark at and cathedrals employ to ring bells.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, Brian, quick thing. We're wondering if you can incorporate less incredibly specific problematic references into car reviews. Just an example right here. You spent 4 pages talking about how the Ford Fiesta was just like Shylock the Jew. Is that a Shakespeare reference?
You're fired.
It's Shakespearean, though.
Amazing.
It's a really problematic play.
So we covered off-road, off-brand, off-putting. How about off-land? The 1961 Amphicar, or amphibious vehicle, that looked like a normal-ish 1960s car on the top half, but was a boat with wheels on the bottom half. It was able to drive into the water from a boat launch and then float. And then it would switch to 2 engine-powered rear propellers. It was a convertible because who the fuck wants a roof in the way if you're going to start to sink? Mm-hmm. My favorite quote from one owner is, quote, "It's not a good car and it's not a good boat, but it does just fine," end quote. The car had
in your face.
Exactly.
Idiot.
The car had a top speed of about 6 knots or 7 miles per hour in the water, which is like a slowish trolling motor. And
it's
the
a pretty
Amphicar,
good canoeer.
Yeah, right. You could out kayak that. Yeah.
It took the Amphicar 40 seconds to get to 60 miles an hour on the highway, and it was top speed was 70 miles an hour.
Okay, but how long to get to 61, Cecil?
I don't know.
Probably like a tiny amount in addition.
This last thing where it goes from it takes 40 seconds to get to 60 miles an hour prompted another owner to say, quote, "We like to think of it as the fastest car in the water and the fastest boat on the road," end quote.
That's awesome. That's such a good spin right there.
The car also used its front wheels to steer on the land, and they doubled as the rudder in the water. So I guess not terribly maneuver on either.
Okay, I got to be honest. I fucking want one of these.
Yeah.
Seriously. And based on everything I learned from my childhood, I would foil a good deal of bad guys during amphibious chasing scenarios.
No, that's right.
Pretty sure.
Totally would.
That's right.
Totally would. There's also been a lot of sort of flying cars throughout history, but this next one doesn't fly. It does, however, borrow heavily from the aviation world. It's the 1922 Liat Helica, and it has a huge propeller on the front of the car as the source of locomotion. It seriously looks like a plane sans the wings, like a Cessna. It has...
Let's get some plane stuff in there, but the wings, that's not what people want, right? The propeller.
That's not sexy. Yeah. It also has chicken wire covering the propeller in the front so no one loses an arm if they get too close. Mm-hmm. And I guess the car itself was quite fast for the time, going 100 miles an hour, over 100 miles an hour at the time. But the car was basically a fan boat on the road and super impractical, so they never made more than 30 of these.
Yeah, my favorite thing about this one is that the picture Wikipedia has, there's a woman standing in the back with a very clear, "I'm not getting in that fucking thing" look on her face. It's
absolutely not.
Now, and listener, if you're thinking, well, wow, how did they get a big ass propeller that's caged off with its casing and everything in front of the car without completely obscuring the driver's view of the
I
road?
was thinking that.
Let me assure you that they didn't.
Not at all.
It's just
Everybody
right in front
drives
of
like
everything.
Eli in the Helica.
They time the windshield wipers so they shoot the fluid right through the propeller.
Like those
to
World
hit
War
your-
One
exact-
guns, right?
It's World War One. Exactly. Yeah. So propellers aren't your thing. I get it, guys. I get it. How about upgrading to a turbine engine? The 1963 Chrysler turbine was one such car.
What?
Now, this is one of the cars on the list that I think is totally dope. The entire car had a turbine
Oh, it
styling.
looks cool
The
as
center
shit.
console
Yeah.
No,
does.
it doesn't.
is
What is wrong?
round and looks like a. What are you a dissenting voice here, Eli? Is that what I'm hearing?
Definitely a dissenting voice.
Get the fuck
You're
out
the
of the podcast.
worst. You're the worst, Eli. You don't understand style.
Have you ever fucking seen Eli dress? I mean, come on.
The rest of Eli's lines are just going to be that Cecil edits.
Okay, so seriously though, the center console is round and it looks like a turbine. The headlights and rear lights look like a turbine. They went all in on this. I guess the turbine design would have needed less maintenance, lasted longer, and could operate on multiple different fuels, from peanut oil to diesel to kerosene to regular gas.
That's
The
great.
turbine got around 20 miles to the gallon. Not great. It could start easier in cold temperatures. The motor, I guess, was pretty unresponsive, and it took a while to get the torque it needed to actually move, and it was expensive, way too expensive to produce, even though the car got a lot of funding and R&D to get it off the ground.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're telling me that giving everyone their own private jet engine wasn't fiscally responsible in the way that automotives were looking for? The hell you say?
Okay, how about cars shaped like food?
What about cars shaped like food? Thank you, Cecil.
Yes.
What about cars shaped like food? What do you know about that?
How about the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
Fuck yes.
There's some like 30 of these, and they have been produced since 1935, with the most recent rolling out of a custom shop in 2008. The car looks like a giant hot dog on a bun-colored platform, so like the bun from Burger Time.
Thank you, Cecil, for using such a universally relatable comparison. Thank you.
The
I'm
car,
sorry, Cecil. You thought people wouldn't grasp hot dog bun, but they would grasp burger time?
are we just doing notes on air now, Eli? Is that what we're doing?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, I mean, because if we are, I mean, I have a lot to say, so I don't know if you would want to open the floor.
Eli just said, duh. I don't know why. Just out of nowhere just now.
Oh, it's fine. Tom
Weird.
just drops out of episodes with 14 seconds notice.
All right.
Girls gone wild up in here.
Okay. The car is almost 30 feet long, and it looks kind of like a hot dog shaped bus. The driver has a special name. It's OSCA. Okay, forget it. I'm just kidding. They are, it's for serious now. They're called hot doggers. And their job is to meet, and I'm right, you understand the spelling
Meet,
of that.
like
and
meet
like
with an
meet,
A,
yeah. And greet people all around the country. Their duties include, quote, sharing photos and videos on social media, answering questions about the brand and the vehicle. The most frequently asked question is there a bathroom in the back? To which they respond, no, it's a weenie bago, and distributing swag, end quote.
Okay, cool. Yeah, for all those moments when you're like, I could really use a tube of bologna right now, but which one do I want? Who's putting in the effort?
Right, yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
For my
Questions
bologna
about
tube
the
dollars
brand.
right
What
now.
one did I most see on Instagram stories? Oh, it's the, okay, all right, fair, yeah. My favorite part of the Wikipedia article is the notable events, where it says, quote, on July 17th, 2009, a Wienermobile in a cul-de-sac in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, was attempting to turn around on a residential driveway. The driver accidentally accelerated forward while thinking the vehicle was in reverse, which lodged the Wienermobile under a house and destroyed its deck, end quote.
Not
Sounds about
a
right.
great sign when the insurance claim starts with the words, hear me out.
Okay, but I do wish other food products would get on board with this strategy, right? Like, look, honey, it's the Oreo helicopter. Let's go get a t-shirt, huh? You want to go get a t-shirt?
It'd be awesome if the tow truck driver goes to pull it out and he's shooting KY jelly on it just to get it so it's lubed up
What
to
they need
get
is
out
a
of there.
condom for this thing. Not what I...
Really destroyed this deck, let me tell you. Let's end.
Wouldn't have happened if it was a Dutch house.
Let's end with some ridiculous trucks. First up is the Carlman King, the most expensive SUV in the world. King runs you a baseline of $1.85 million. The car itself
Fuck everybody who ever has one. Get out of here.
It's so ugly and stupid. The car itself is flat black and looks like it has stealth technology. It's not fast, tops out at under 90 miles an hour. Does have a retractable TV, a fridge, an ambient lighting, pop-up tables, a coffee machine. You can get the King with ballistic armor if you want, and I guess the starting price, the company's open to customization. It's built on a Ford F550 chassis, and the interior looks like someone refurbished a Carnival cruise ship with the casino carpet. Takes seriously, I'm not even kidding. It looks like carpet you would put in somewhere where you expect a lot of spills.
Yeah.
It takes 15
you have
months.
a coffee machine in there for no reason. There's a Starbucks every block.
It takes 15 months to get one after you order it. And according to the article I read, they have a back order of 20 for North America.
Jesus.
Ah, yes. Proof that rich people will do literally anything with their money except help the poor.
Yeah, it looks 32-bit. The fucking design.
Mm.
Speaking of an overpriced bulletproof car, let's talk about the Tesla Cybertruck. A car designed deep in the heart of the Tron universe.
Oh, yeah, no, that one looks 8-bit. Yeah.
The vehicle itself has been delayed several times, but Elon Musk promised in 2022 that it'd be out in 23, and he never breaks his promises. There have been a lot of electric cars and trucks on the market to compete with, and there are Ford models, a Hummer, and a startup company called Rivian. But I ask you, do any of these have the cringiest of all-time auto launch moments when Elon Musk boasts about an unbreakable window, and then his co-announcer,
Greatest thing that's ever happened.
he breaks the window with so little effort.
Oh, it's just
so little effort.
He sneezed on it. Yeah.
It's an unbreakable
Now
window.
try to break this window. I broke it.
It's so amazing. He's using like a small shot put type ball that's like a metal ball, and he's like, "Go ahead and throw it at it." And he throws it at it, like expecting it to bounce off the window. It fucking breaks the window.
He breaks it with a
so bad.
pinball. It's
so
stupid.
bad. And then he breaks the back one after being goaded to do it for Musk in the back too. It's so amazing. It's so good. The Tesla truck
And all the fanboys in the room are still like, we don't care.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. The Tesla truck looks stupid, but you might get a good deal on one as Musk tanks Tesla with his Twitter antics.
There you go. So if you had to
invest now.
summarize what you learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Somebody really needs to do an essay on Buckminster Fuller.
Right?
I'm not kidding. He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
That's a
topic.
good point. All right. So are you ready for the quiz?
I am ready to sign and drive. Let's do this.
All right, Cecil, which branded promotional vehicle was even worse than the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile? A, the Jack in the Boxster. B, the Trixer for Kids unmarked van.
What is
Or
happening?
C, the U-Haul Lacoste.
Holy
branded
shit!
promotional
Come
vehicle.
on, Heath.
No.
Why is the last one just a long beep? Why is it
Thank
that?
you.
I don't
That's
get
correct. It was C. Duh. Next, whoever.
All right, Cecil, we've learned about some cool car features today, but what's one that every vehicle needs? A, a function that if you leave your blinker on for no reason, your car explodes, killing you and everyone inside. B, a head vice to force men over the age of 40 to use their fucking backup camera. No, you can't see better twisting your body into a pretzel. Use your
Yes, you
fucking
can.
backup
You
camera.
Men
Yes, you
over
can.
40
You
don't have
literally
cars with
can't.
backup cameras.
Yeah,
Get
you
out of here.
Or C, a function that tells you if a light is stop yellow or you can probably make it yellow.
I reject the premise on B because they're all but probably make it yellow. I'm sorry. They've
Incorrect.
all probably-
Correct. Correct. All lights are you could probably make it yellow.
All right, but
Even the
Eli
pink
wrote
ones.
that as incorrect, so he wins anyway.
I win. I've run the most.
Oh, I
red
totally
lights,
didn't see
so
your
I
thing
win.
there. I'm sorry, Eli. I'm sorry. I didn't read forward enough. I ruined your joke, Eli. It was the one joke
Fine.
that you said that wasn't
Hey,
duh the
you
whole
were
episode.
he- you-
So
hey, Cecil, you attended the podcast, and I guess that's all we can ask at this point on this
wow,
fucking
I get the
project.
award for attendance.
Everybody is so lost right now. They have no idea what's happening. Who's next?
Yeah,
Who is
I
it?
believe
Me,
it's
Tom.
No,
Noah.
Noah.
Nope.
You got it eventually.
Yeah, you know
Just keep
I'm
naming
gonna be
people.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for Eli, Tom, Cecil, and Heath, I'm Noah. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then I'll be an expert on something else. Between now and then, be sure to check out more from Tom and Cecil on cognitive dissonance, Eli and Tom on Dear Old Dads, Eli, Heath, and me on Scathing Atheist, God Awful Movies, The Skeptocrat, and D&D Minus, and Cecil on the YouTube show Season Liberally Jesus. The See Also section is going to have its own podcast eventually.
Season Liberally's been looking great.
Yeah,
So
good stuff. A lot of good
good.
Glad
stuff.
you guys enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to make.
Anyway, if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com.
Okay. So it's decided. We make a rocket car, a car with a tractor seat in the back, a car boat, but we don't tell anyone what gear B stands for.
I feel like I've disappointed the orb.
You probably are, man. You probably are.